Welcome to Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
And good morning, Keys. It is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys, the 19th of June. That makes it Juneteenth. We will talk about that from a historical perspective here in just a few moments. Going to have just a slight chance of rain, but for the most part, 91 for your high all weekend long, all the way through Monday. Most government offices are closed and banks and the like for the Juneteenth holiday. And then, of course, we have Father's Day coming up as well. We're going to say a good morning to former mayor of Monroe County, as well as current commissioner. It is Jim Scholl with us. Hello, Jim. How are you, sir?
Hey, good morning, Michael. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for being here, and happy Juneteenth for you and to everyone listening. You had a little historical perspective as far as how Juneteenth came about originally and what it is we were commemorating. So I think it's important to remind people what that is.
Well, yeah, in June of 1865, after the Civil War had ended, Texas was the last holdout as far as abiding by the Emancipation Proclamation, which, of course, President Lincoln signed in 1863. So General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, by boat and took his Army patrol into Texas and went through all of the populated part of East Texas at the time and other places and enforced the freedom of the slaves. So that's when Texas, the last holdout of the Confederacy as far as slavery went, went through and officially freed all the slaves in Texas. So that was the final action required to get the South to comply with that Emancipation Proclamation. So an important date in our history, and something that will certainly be a big part of our nation's history, at realizing that when you form a nation that says all men are created equal, then we have to abide by that. So President Lincoln did a fantastic job in signing that Emancipation Proclamation, and it just took a while for it to be fully enforced.
Yeah, and then it became a national holiday under President Biden, so fairly recently.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Indeed. Well, again, happy Juneteenth to all, a commemorative day, and we pause to commemorate the official ending of slavery in our great country. It is Jim Scholl. He is former mayor of Monroe County, current commissioner. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. And Commissioner, let's talk about the state of Florida just a little bit. We had it looks like we're going to move to a voter referendum to vote on property tax reform. A number of different parts are included in that reform, a lot revolving around homestead properties and reductions, etc. So there are concerns, though, as far as the ramifications for local governments, municipalities, and counties alike. So I know the county commissioners are looking at the pros and cons and trying to assess what impact it may have should it pass the 60% threshold.
Yes, the House and Senate in their last special session did have a combined bill that was approved to go forward for the voters of Florida to decide if they want the homestead tax reforms to go through. Most of it's focused on homesteaded properties, but significant reductions over time, and it will obviously impact revenue streams from property taxes. And in the Florida Keys in Monroe County, we get about 25% of our revenue comes from property taxes, which is actually a fairly low percentage compared to the rest of Florida. But it will still be an impact because that form or that type of revenue is used to support all of the emergency management functions, the sheriff's department, our fire departments, our EMS first responders, and then in addition to that, the constitutional officers. So 90% of the Monroe County property taxes go to fund those essential services and the constitutional officers. So if there's a significant reduction in that revenue stream, that's going to be difficult to maintain the level of services that we have in the county unless we can find another revenue stream that could offset the expense side. And that's doable, but it will be a challenge to make all that happen and continue to maintain the level of service that we have. And of course, the administrative side of county government, which is all of our departments that are the non-first responders, and that they get very little of the ad valorem tax, but they're fee-for-service operations. Like the planning department, if you go in and you want to get a building permit or those types of things, those are fee-for-service functions, and those fees may have to increase. And another option would be to reduce the number of actual sites where we support the community. So because we've got 4 government centers up and down the Keys, because we are obviously somewhat unusual being a 130-mile long county with one main road. So we're certainly not compact at all, which is why we have facilities in Key West and out on Stock Island, and then, of course, in Marathon and at Plantation Key, and then up in Key Largo at the Murray Nelson Government Center is where we have redundancy so that people that need the types of services that are required for certain things, that they can have reasonable access so close by. But, if revenue is significantly reduced, we will potentially have to consolidate those resources in fewer locations, which would mean obviously it would be less convenient. The services would still be available, but just not at the same level of convenience that it is now.
Yes. District 3 Commissioner Jim Scholl with us on Good Morning Keys. And Commissioner, there also are constitutional restrictions on the revenue use. Now, I know that our Mayor Michelle Lincoln and the Board of County Commissioners had forwarded a letter to the state, it was my understanding, asking for some clarification of that, but it looks like local governments must use remaining property taxes according to the proposed bill that'll be voted on, but must use remaining property taxes for core services, public safety, education, infrastructure, natural resources, debt service, retirement obligations, and administration. And constitutional offices that you mentioned were also added to that as a result, I think.
Yes, and it was obviously Monroe County was part of that, as other counties, because some of those things, like the constitutional officers, that's required under the state constitution as a financial responsibility of the counties. So, we were potentially going to lose the ability to fund those things, even though that is a state requirement. So that was just trying to balance those functions with what has historically been the revenue stream to support that. So that did get added in. So, that all helps, but with the reduction scheme, the plan to reduce homesteaded property tax rates and also increase the exemption, it's going to be a pretty significant impact on that particular revenue stream. There are still options because there is no prohibition for fee for services to make up revenue, but it's just, if we're going to maintain the level of service, especially for law enforcement and firefighting and ambulance service, we'll have to have a dedicated revenue stream for that. So that could be a fee, a emergency services fee. That's not a tax, but it's a user fee that could be levied, against all of the residents and businesses of the Florida Keys. I don't know that we would go there, but that's an option.
Okay. Well, again, Jim Scholl, Commissioner, District 3, former Mayor of Monroe County, as well as city manager and of Key West and AES commanding officer. Lots of titles there, and we appreciate all of your dedication and service. So, the Florida Association of Counties did get involved in the discussion and looking for clarity in terms of the property tax reform. And we do have the convention coming up, I believe, coming up next week for the Florida Association of Counties. Mayor Michelle Lincoln presides over that body as the president, and a number of other attendees will be at that meeting.
Absolutely. So the meeting, and we do it every year. We rendezvous in Orlando, obviously central part of the state, to make it more convenient for those of us that live far away from everywhere. And we'll spend the week, and we have plenary sessions where we're all there together and listening to briefings from not only the Florida Association of Counties staff, but also from, the senior leadership in Tallahassee. We've had the chief financial officer. We've had the attorney general. We've had the Secretary of Agriculture. All these positions up there, they come and talk to us, and they also listen to us. We are a collegial body that coordinates things with our governor and his staff, and of course the legislature. So it's a very good, positive working relationship, and it works out really well if we all understand the complexities and the necessities of things. If it wasn't for fact, for example, our ability to maintain the Florida Water Quality Initiative funds and the Florida stewardship money that we get to the tune of, $30 million a year roughly down here to support environmental requirements, our canal restorations, and we are able to purchase environmentally sensitive properties and retire them from being able to be developed. So all sorts of significant funding streams support that, and FAC, along with obviously our county representatives, us elected officials, and the municipalities. We all continue to remind our elected officials, including the governor and his staff, how important it is for our environment down here, and which obviously our environment supports our economy and our quality of life. So those things are important, and that's part of what FAC helps us all do collectively for these types of important things.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, again, it is Jim Scholl. He is Commissioner District 3 on Keys Talk 96.9 1025, the Talk of the Keys. And, sir, we've talked about this before. Actually, we'll pivot for just a second to the federal side. 2026 federal legislative agenda focused on disaster recovery, flood insurance, and infrastructure that has been approved by the Monroe County Board of County Commissioners for the 2026 legislative agenda. So not only are we dealing on the state level, whether it's through the Florida Association of Counties or with Tallahassee and the state legislature and the governor's office, but we're also constantly seeking support from the federal level. We'll be looking for a number of different funding solutions for top priorities, including $3 million for final engineering and permitting of Card Sound Bridge replacement project, $2.25 million, Big Pine Key Activity Center, and a number of other projects that we constantly rely on our federal partners for. So that 2026 legislative agenda has been passed and approved by the dais.
Right. And that is important. And obviously, we certainly communicate frequently with Congressman Jimenez, and then also Senators Scott and Moody and their staffs. And I can't tell you how supportive all three of the three individuals are elected congressmen and senators have been, but their staffs are amazing. And it's always just communication and having the relationship, a good positive relationship, to be able to get things supported that are so important. down here. And I tell people all the time, especially for those of us that are all the way down here in Key West. I mean, we are the last road, and Key West, the end of the road down here for the East Coast of the United States. And sometimes when you have, 55,000 registered voters, that doesn't necessarily garner a lot of support if you look at it from a political point of view. But the Florida Keys are a unique environment, and that is recognized, not only in the state of Florida, but in Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. And that helps a lot because we are able to communicate how unique and how important the Florida Keys are, not only to the residents here, but to the entire country, and in some cases, the world, as not only a destination, but an important environmental and ecological unique environment. And so it is important, and we do get not only listened to, but we garner a pretty good amount of respect from our elected officials. So it is important to keep the lines of communication open and be able to advocate for support of those important issues that we need to have funded.
Well, Commissioner, I also want to just take a quick moment again to thank you for all of your service to our country and to our county as well. And of course, serving in so many capacities that we've mentioned before, but of course, commanding officer of Naval Air Station Key West, part of the Florida Defense Support Task Force. And you also have a master's in national security and strategic studies from the Naval War College. So I'd like to call upon you for your expertise in, some of the international affairs, especially when they deal with the military. But the Strait of Hormuz continues to be a sticking point between Iran and the United States. And apparently Iran is now again stalling on signing the latest deal. Iran apparently saying it will charge fees for transit through the Strait of Hormuz, and that has started to kind of put a chilling effect on this latest deal that is to be signed. You have personally been through the Straits of Hormuz, many times, had some perspective on that. So would you offer some perspective as far as how critical that element is to this whole international strife that's happening with Iran right now?
Well, yeah, Michael, I did 6 aircraft carrier deployments over my career, all out of Norfolk, Virginia, and then across the Atlantic, through the Mediterranean, through the Suez Canal. Each one of my cruises did this, and then around to the Arabian Gulf. So I know I've been through the Suez Canal 12 times, 6 each direction, but I've been through the Straits of Hormuz more than that. But in international law, international maritime law, any of these restricted access points, choke points, like the Straits of Hormuz happens to be there between Oman and UAE on the west side and Iran on the east side. There's such a thing, they call it right of free passage and right of transit passage. So free passage is done for the sea lines of communication to stay open and getting through those straits and up there into the Arabian Gulf and then back out into the Gulf of Oman and ultimately the Indian Ocean is important for the world's economy. 95% of the world's economy goes by ocean, whether it's oil, whether it's grain and breakbulk ships, iron ore, or if it's container ships with everything, goes by container ships nowadays all around the world. And being able to maintain the ability to support the world's economy on the ocean with transit everywhere on the planet, but including the Straits of Hormuz, is very important. And it's something that just needs to be maintained. And nobody, by international law, is allowed to charge a fee for using a strait or an archipelago is another example, which in the South China Sea, China tries to claim archipelagos as restricted areas. And again, international law does not allow that. So it is important, again, primarily for the world's economy and of course, national defense and all of that as well. But it's a sticking point when you have non-Western world mindset and thousands of years of culture that believes they have the right and the obligation to control things, and including to the level of armed conflict. So it's a challenge. I know the Iranians decided they weren't going to show up today for the official signing. So, and I think that's consistent with their historic precedent of how they try to deal with the non-Iranian world. So all I can say is we need to be careful, but we need to also maintain our resolve that the straits need to be open.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for that perspective, and we'll continue to watch developments on the international stage as well. Is there anything else, though, that we should offer up at this particular time, whether it be close to home or otherwise?
I can't think of anything right off the top of my head, but I just would ask that everybody, we've got elections this year up and down the Keys, yes. So do your homework and vote for the candidate of your choice. And just, it's such an important privilege that we have in this country to be able to vote for our representatives. And it really behooves all of us to do our homework and vote for the candidate of your choice. That's all I would offer up at the end here, Michael.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you. That is advice well said, and we will take that to heart, and we will try our best on our side to present all of the facts and all of the information that is needed to make an informed voter and an engaged voter as well. So thank you, sir, for being here. Thank you so very much for all of your service. Happy Juneteenth to you. Happy Father's Day to you and to all. And again, thank you so much for all of your service to our country and to our community, sir.
And thanks, Michael, and thanks for all you do. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Absolutely. Have a wonderful day, sir. It is. Yes, sir. Thank you. Jim Scholl. He is commissioner for District 3, former city manager, City of Key West, commanding officer, NAS Key West, and lots of other accomplishments. We appreciate Jim being here, as he does each and every month, to visit with us. This is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The Talk of the Keys. We're back in a moment.
Are you frustrated by weight gain even though you constantly diet? Do you have low energy or always feel tired? It could be hormonal imbalance. Hormonal imbalances, especially as we age, can be the cause of depression, weight gain, mood swings, decreased libido, and many other chronic conditions. At Keys Med Spa, we have helped thousands of women and men regain their hormonal balance with BioT, bioidentical hormone optimization therapy, and the results are life-changing. Keys Med Spa BioT hormone therapy is safe, effective, painless, and affordable. And the big difference at Keys Med Spa, this is all overseen by renowned Dr. Peterson, who has had a medical practice in the Keys for over 27 years. Cool sculpting, Botox, skin treatments, BioT hormone therapy, and more. Dr. Peterson and his team are here to help you maintain your youthful glow and vitality. To see if BioT hormone therapy is right for you, call Keys Med Spa today at 305-587-9183.
The Greenhouse. Have you been there yet? We even spell it with 3 E's to help you smile when you say it. That's our goal. We carry the largest selection of hemp-derived THC and CBD products in Monroe County. If you've been taking medication for anxiety, depression, inflammation, lack of sleep, or muscle and joint pain and it's just not working, or you don't like the side effects, we can help. If you're looking to chill, relax, escape, focus, or even break out into euphoric fits of laughter, we can help there too. No medical card is needed. You just have to be 21 or over. Our 3 locations are open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. In Key West, we're at 431 Front Street, just in front of Mallory Square. In Marathon, you can find us at mile marker 52 at 10875 Overseas Highway. In Key Largo, we're at 99304 Overseas Highway in the middle of the road. Swing on by, share your goals with us, and we'll recommend a product to help you reach them. And we back our recommendations with a 100% money-back guarantee. The Greenhouse. Stop on by and find out what the buzz is all about today.
Visit one of the 12 locations of the Greenhouse, including 9 in the Keys and featuring their newest store at 3128 North Roosevelt, Key West.
Hey, Key West. Danny Hughes here from Two Friends. Really from Two Friends. So Maura and I were sitting at breakfast in the bar, listening to live music at 8:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. She's about to enjoy some huevos rancheros and me shrimp and grits with fried oysters. Heart healthy. And Maura says, Dorothy, we're not in Kansas anymore. It was perfect because we didn't move here because Key West is like a lot of other places. We moved here because it isn't like any other place on earth. So meet your friends or make your friends at Two Friends, 512 Front Street in Old Town Key West, or twofriends.com.
The voice of Monroe County, yours. This is Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
And Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. Good morning to you. It is the 19th of June. Juneteenth is upon us here, and we're going to say good morning to a couple of special guests, Jeremy Ford, Chef Jeremy Ford, and Chef Kyle Campbell are with us. Now, I'll be learning more about, I'll be learning more about Kyle Campbell here in just a little bit, but also Jeremy Ford, you may know the name. There are a lot of accolades to his name. And starting with Jeremy, you worked for John George's, and I can't pronounce his last name, so you're going to have to help me there. But that was kind of the start. And the 13th season of Top Chef in 2015. You have had a very decorated career, sir.
Yeah, man. Good morning. And it's been a hell of a ride, I got to say. And to end up in the Keys at one of my favorite restaurants and one of my best pals to do it with, I couldn't be happier.
Well, indeed. So you are now at Salt and Ash, which is part of Hawks Cay Resort on Duck Key. And what a beautiful restaurant it is it not?
Yeah. It's one of those ones where I think through the design process, we just, it looked great. And then when you walked into the space, it just felt so intentional. And so, it's one of our most beautiful dining rooms for sure.
Yeah, it is. So there's a number of concepts behind this, but let's also talk to Kyle Campbell. Kyle, how are you, sir?
Hey there. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much
Wonderful.
for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, tell us about yourself, Kyle, and so we can become familiar with you, because you are also going to be part of Ford and Friends on June 27th.
Oh, yes, absolutely. No, I'm a chef, born and raised in Philadelphia. Go Birds.
Whoa, no kidding.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, made my way through the Philly scene, the Seattle scene, and then I ended up down in Miami Beach, ended up with Jeremy, and it's a true testament as to what hard work will do for your career. And now we've become partners and opening restaurants ever since.
That's awesome. Well, Philadelphia is close to some of our home offices as well in PA. So I'm sure you bring some culinary talents to the Florida Keys for this special event. It's called Ford and Friends. Happens June 27th, 6 to 8:30 at Salt and Ash, which is a phenomenal restaurant right there on Duck Key at Hawks Cay. So let's talk about the concept of the dinner then, if we could, with Jeremy. Talk about the dinner that you've put together here and some of the culinary experiences that you're going to be bringing literally to the table.
Well, this one's pretty special, my friend. I'm actually going spearfishing on Friday the 26th to catch everything we're going to be providing for the dinner. So this is a real boat to table, I guess you'd say. But we're really excited about that. And then also just about an hour and a half north of the restaurant, I have a 6-acre farm. So we'll be getting some flowers and herbs and some mangoes. And, we got to celebrate this tropical, euphoria that we have down here. So very excited about bringing those items. And we're going to be basically creating like a Keys tasting menu. So you get to taste a little bit of ingredients that are in season right now that we're growing on our farm, and some fish. We're hoping to spear some grouper and maybe some mutton snapper.
That's amazing. Again, we're speaking with Jeremy Ford, Ford and Friends, June 27th, 6 to 8:30 p.m. is when that is happening. And again, tickets can be procured at the Hawks Cay website, also on Instagram, is my understanding.
Yeah, we're going to actually post something with a link here in just a little bit on my Instagram, Kyle Campbell's, and the Salt and Ash Instagram, and they can just go right to the open table. And we got pretty affordable tickets, $125 a person. And you're going to have a night full of great bites from Paula Da Silva, who I mentored under when I first moved down to South Florida, who kind of, got me out of the French, mindset into a more, Floridian and just supporting local farms and all that good jazz.
Well, yeah. And Jeremy, you've worked with some top chefs and become one yourself, but can you describe to us the Salt and Ash restaurant at Hawks Cay for somebody who's not been there? Maybe, again, it is pretty hard to describe the experience, but let's give that a try as you brought that culinary philosophy of yourself to Salt and Ash.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna let Kyle take this one. He knows that place in and out.
Okay.
I would say the best way to describe Salt and Ash is just like we have our farm that's an hour and a half north of Duck Key right now in Homestead, Ford's Farm. And we just want to have the convergence of land and sea being the farm and the beautiful bounty of the ocean and everything that we can procure from there and being as the most sustainable as possible. Not bringing in wild, crazy ingredients that hurt the environment or anything like that. We're growing our own produce and we're, as Jeremy said, spearing our own fish.
Oh, okay. Well, Jeremy, maybe you can answer this one then. Ford and Friends is shaping up to be a really special evening by all accounts. So what inspired you to create this one night only dinner experience and collaboration with some of your friends?
Yeah, I thought this was a great opportunity. A lot of locals down there in the Keys. This is the time I think everyone starts to really come out and get back in because it's the wait times are a little less. The restaurants are getting back to where the locals like to eat out. And we just want to do this dinner to bring everybody together and break bread. And I thought what better time than in June when things are starting to, slow down a little bit and everyone's kind of relaxing to have some nice bites and food with us. And, my mentor, Paula, we actually worked together on another project. So this for us is going to be a really special time to kind of work in the kitchen. It's been a while.
Well, so again, we are speaking with Jeremy Ford, Chef Jeremy Ford and Chef Kyle Campbell. Jeremy has put together Ford and Friends at Hawks Cay Resort, specifically at Salt and Ash Restaurant. Is going to be a phenomenal experience, immersive experience, June 27th, 6 to 8:30 p.m. Salt and Ash, it is inspired by the vibrant connection between land, sea, and fire. So is that kind of the concept that you're following for the Ford and Friends collaboration that night as well?
Yes, absolutely. You're going to find a lot of fire, a lot of fresh seafood from the ocean, and anything that we can still grow at the farm, we're bringing on down.
Yeah. So farm meets ocean is really a true statement in this case.
You betcha.
Yeah. Okay. Well, one of the things that makes it a unique experience is the cooking alongside Chef Paula De Silva. You mentioned her. She's been a mentor to you. And, Paula and so many people along your journey have shaped who you've become here, Jeremy, as a Michelin award winner and a top chef. So what does Paula mean to this event and some of the other collaborators that you're working with?
Yeah, Paula was just this like ray of sunshine. When I'd worked in a lot of really tough French kitchens all across the country, Los Angeles, New York, and when I got to meet Paula, she just kind of brought me back, to a very positive place, treating people with the utmost respect. And it was just, I needed her in my career, I think, right? Because we get beat up so much when you're trying to come up through this, the fine dining world, that you need someone who's just a good human being. And she just was so organized and such a wonderful chef. Like her food is, it's funny when you eat something really, really good, you don't forget it. And her food is like that. There's bites that I've had of hers that I still think about a decade later, so that's a testament to just how good she is. She's comes from a Brazilian heritage, but her food is very, very world flavors. She uses a lot of great ingredients, but her style is very in specific. It's just delicious, good eating food.
Yeah. Again, Jeremy Ford with us, Chef Jeremy Ford, Chef Kyle Campbell. part of Ford and Friends, June 27th. It's at Salt and Ash Restaurant at Hawks Cay Resort. The key, 6 to 8:30 p.m. will be the events coming up, as I said, June 27th. And we've talked about Chef Paula De Silva. Do you have a specific memory in mind, Jeremy, that influences the way you lead your team or approach your cooking today?
Yeah, I believe I learned the respect of fish. She would when she broke down a whole fish, a tuna, a snapper, she did it with such precision. And I remember looking over her shoulder, saying, like, "Wow, this chef is just knows her way around a fish." And I learned how to break down pretty much every fish from her, which is one of those ooh-ha moments, right? Because you kind of see everybody else doing it, and nobody ever really gives you the power tools. So she handed over the saw to me, and that's one of my fondest memories, was just learning how to understand and navigate a razor sharp knife through these beautiful Florida fish. And she was a big part of really getting me to localize my mentality into Floridian cuisine.
Well, Jeremy Ford, Chef Jeremy Ford with us, and you have had a storied career, as has Kyle Campbell and some of the other friends that you'll be working with at Ford and Friends dinner on the 27th. But guests attending the Ford and Friends dinner will have the chance to interact with some of those very influential chefs throughout the evening. Maybe give us an idea what diners can expect from that experience. And why is that personal connection important to you and some of the other chefs as well?
Yeah, I mean, the night's gonna be really fun. As soon as you arrive, there's gonna be some bubbles and some little snacks. We have our oyster company that's gonna be coming down, and we're gonna be featuring one of their bites upon arrival. And then it's just a beautiful menu of. We have a dish curated from our very own hens. We have our own chickens on the farm, so we'll be featuring their beautiful little eggs into a dish. But yeah, it's everything from beautiful Wagyu steak up from North Florida, all the way from to seafood we're getting right off the back dock there.
Again, it is Top Chef, Florida native, Michelin star winner Jeremy Ford putting together Ford and Friends culinary experience, June 27th. Salt and Ash is an incredible venue. It's part of Hawks Cay Resort, and what a fitting setting it truly is to have such a world-class restaurant there at Hawks Cay. But Hawks Cay is known as a destination where families and couples come to make memories. So maybe just comment on how experience like this elevate the resort and create something truly unforgettable for guests as part of the entire Hawks Cay experience.
I would say what is so special about this dinner is just the fact that, yeah, we have our front kitchen with our wood oven. You're going to be able to interact with us while we're cooking, really making all these amazing memories. It's more than just a dinner, it's an experience. It's we do storytelling through food, and with tasty menus that allows us to, navigate our way through that. And for somebody who hasn't been to Hawks Cay before, like our first time getting into Hawks Cay and seeing the space that the restaurant resides in now, it was just like, wow, this is what everyone talks about Florida Keys and it being paradise on earth. And we just fell in love with it. And we know that the guests who have not had a chance yet to be at Hawks Cay, to be at Salt and Ash, they're going to feel the exact same way when they see us.
Okay. Chef Kyle Campbell, Chef Jeremy Ford with us talking about Ford and Friends culinary experience on June 27th from 6 to 8:30. So it is a pretty full evening, a lot of interaction going on between the diners and the chefs who are attending and preparing the meals. But for those who are considering taking a seat at Ford and Friends, it's going to be quite a memorable experience. Is there one thing either one of you hope that you'll impart upon others, and that what your diners will take away from the experience, maybe a flavor, a feeling, a story they'll remember? What's the takeaway you'd like to see from the diners?
It's more of a feeling, in our eyes. Like when we look out over a dining room, when we're cooking for guests, in the middle of the rush, you get a chance to pop your head up and look out, and you just see people smiling, laughing, taking pictures of food. That's how you know that you did a good job. You know what I mean? And like, having new guests come to Salt and Ash, see the beautiful dining room, see the food that we're gonna, curate for them. It's just one of those things that we're just so excited to be able to impart on new guests.
Yeah, well, you're creating that memory, that experience for them, and not only the culinary taste, but just the whole atmosphere, the experience, everything you're putting together as part of Ford and Friends. Truly a remarkable and unique experience that will occur June 27th, 6 to 8:30. You can get tickets for this rare and extraordinary and very special event at Hawks Cay. Go to hawksk.com to get the tickets. Also available on Instagram. It's going to be featuring award-winning Michelin star winner and a top chef. It is Jeremy Ford, and Kyle Campbell will be alongside Paula De Silva and others. It's going to be quite an experience, and I hope that we impressed upon people listening today how special it's going to be. Any parting thoughts from either one of you, sir, as far as what you'd like to add to the conversation, just to make sure people understand how truly special this event, as well as Salt and Ash as a beautiful venue in the Florida Keys, truly is?
Yeah, come on down and see us June 27th for one of the best nights of food and memories they're ever going to have. And, we're going to be picking beautiful stuff right from our farm to bring to that table. So we look forward to seeing y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. Vibrant connection between land, sea, and fire. It's Salt and Ash. It is at Hawks Cay Resort on Duck Key. Ford and Friends, June 27th, coming up. Make sure you get your tickets very soon. It's going to be a very popular event. Gentlemen, thank you both for being here and telling us all about Ford and Friends. I'm sure it's going to be a very memorable experience for many people.
Awesome, brother. Cheers. See you all soon.
Yes, thank you both very much. It is Chef Kyle Campbell with us, Chef Jeremy Ford, Ford and Friends, June 27th, 6 to 8:30. Get those tickets for sure. This is Keys Talk, 96.9, 102.5, The Talk of the Keys. We return with more of Good Morning Keys in a moment.
Good morning, dear. Breakfast almost ready?
In a minute. So did you happen to call someone about spalling repair for the house?
You know what? I knew I forgot something yesterday.
Honey, you know how important spalling repair is, especially here in the Keys. If that spalling damage gets any worse...
Don't worry. I'll call Design Center in Marathon.
When?
Today.
How about now?
Okay, dear. Now.
Design Center, the most efficient spalling contractor in the Keys, providing the fastest results. With over 40 years combined experience in spalling repair and a member of the International Concrete Repair Institute, Design Center can handle the largest jobs to small structures. They also handle quite a number of condominium and county projects. Mention this ad or the program you're listening to and receive 10% off your spalling repair. Visit DesignCenterFL.com or call 305-735-4042. Design Center, 6677 Overseas Highway Marathon. License number CGC 1523838. Remember, mention this ad or the program you're listening to and receive 10% off your spalling repair from Design Center.
This is Ollie North for 4-Star Rentals. 4-Star Rentals is the most complete rental store in the Keys. They can provide rental equipment for every do-it-yourself project from your house to your yard. Bobcats, chippers, chainsaws, and tile saws, you name it, they have it. They also deliver throughout the Keys. That's 4-Star Rentals. Model marker 4.5 on Stock Island. These guys are really good. That's 4-Star Rentals. Go see them soon.
Check us out. What Colonel Ollie North says is absolutely true. We're locally owned and operated. We offer a fleet of delivery trucks for fast all-in-one delivery. 4-Star Rentals is the oldest tool rental and party store in the Florida Keys. We make it easy to get that job done for that party or very special event. We're located at mile marker 4.5 in Key West, or just call us and we'll come to you. 4-Star Rentals, 294-7171. That's 294-7171. Remember, Colonel Ollie North never lies.
Historic Pepe's Cafe in Key West, founded in 1909, still does things the old way. Diachronic, if you will. How about fresh squeezed juices? Think how good that margarita or Greyhound will taste. Blue Point oysters shucked to order because oysters work better that way. Fresh breads and outstanding specials in an eatery that opened the same year Ole Evinrude invented the first outboard motor. And get a jump on someone's birthday and check out our retail offerings for some great gift ideas. Pepe's Cafe, Old Town Key West, of course.
Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
And good morning, Keys. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. Juneteenth, and most government offices are closed for the Juneteenth holiday. Ceremonies will commence at 9 a.m. At City Hall in Key West, so keep that in mind as well. We're going to say good morning to John Thompson. He is owner of Boardwalk Bar and Grill, Big Pine Key, with his partner Adam as well. Saying good morning to John. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you. So, can we imagine 3 years since you and Adam bought Boardwalk and brought Boardwalk Bar and Grill to Big Pine? 3 years. That's almost hard to believe.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, we bought it in June, and so we're coming up on an anniversary, which is fantastic, and it's just it's been a great run.
Yeah, it really has. And it is truly a place for the locals. Visitors enjoy it as well. But, your menu is got so many different offerings to it. Everything is really affordable as well. The whole atmosphere there is a very friendly and welcoming one, I'd say.
Well, I appreciate that, Mike. Thank you so much for saying that. We really do take pride in that. Adam does a great job. He's obviously the man in operations, and I love just being around him and learning so much from him and being able to, help him through our success. And it's been great because, he gets everything on point, with live music and great food and making sure that the menu is for what everyone wants or bringing in specials and giving our staff the ability to create their own specials. So it's so good to just be able to be in the community and have, such a variety of things to eat and drink and in a great place where normally, everyone's in bed at 8:00 at night.
Yeah. Well, you guys see to it that you take care of the people that aren't in bed at 8:00 at night because the kitchen is open pretty late.
Yeah, that was a staple when we first moved here, and no pun intended, Mike Staple. But when we first got here, we said we want to be up late. We want to give the community a place to come late because everywhere else, if you go into the big city, if you go somewhere, you can find something to eat at 10, 11 o'clock at night. And people are traveling and they need that. They're going between Key West, Marathon. They're staying in Big Pine for the first time. Why not give them an opportunity to get some good food at a reasonable price at any time they want? And that's what we really brought to Big Pine Key.
Yeah. John Thompson, he and Adam are owners of Boardwalk Bar and Grill, celebrating the 3-year anniversary of the Boardwalk Bar and Grill. Right off the highway there, Big Pine Key, you'll see the big yellow awning, and it's always welcoming to you. Adam really is very welcoming to all of the guests. He makes sure that he goes around and makes sure that their experience is a good one and greets them with a smile and gratitude. That's great to see.
Absolutely. Again, that's what makes us who we are. He cares about not only the community, he cares about his staff, our staff. So it's very simple for him because it's second nature. Mm-hmm. Him being in the building is a part of what makes Boardwalk so successful. Mm-hmm. And it's, we appreciate him so much because of it. Yeah. And obviously bringing in new things, we have people with live music, we have charity poker, we have ladies night, we have food specials every day. We brought in ice cream for the kids, and it's a hot one. So bring your kids to Boardwalk because they need ice cream.
Yes, they do. Yeah, and you guys made the commitment from the start. You signed a long-term lease, then you actually bought the building. There really was no turning back once you and Adam committed to the community and the lower and middle keys as well. And charity, you continue to give back. The charity poker that happens every week is a good example of that. The place fills up with people enjoying poker and enjoying a great drink and food, and that's giving back to the community as well.
Absolutely. And it's not just poker. Think about we do line dancing, right. And we're doing cool painting nights where people are coming in and doing something different that they haven't been able to experience in Big Pine. And we're going to keep creating. This is just the beginning. Mm-hmm. And, buying the building now allows us so much more opportunities to do different things. And that's what we're excited about. We're excited about, being really for the locals, by the locals. And that was what we said. We live here, we eat here, we drink here, and we want our community to feel the same way.
Yeah, indeed. John Thompson, he and Adam are owners of Boardwalk Bar and Grill, Big Pine Key. You'll see the big yellow awning there. You'll see a parking lot full of cars with people having a great time inside. It's really kind of become the community center of the Lower Keys as well. Like you said, charity poker tournaments, the line dancing. You've done like sip and paint things. There's always something happening in there where people are gathering just to gather. And of course, they enjoy the food and the drinks, etc. But you're also creating activities and a gathering place for the community.
Oh, absolutely. If you come on Monday nights, guess what? It's trivia night.
Yep.
And everyone loves trivia. They go nuts. It's been such a great time, so much fun. And it just gives people an opportunity to get out of their ordinary life here. You know how life is on the island. So you want to be able to have different things to do, get some pizza. Maybe today it's not a pizza night, you want a churrasco. Maybe tonight you don't want a churrasco, you want some wings. Maybe you just want a burger. Being able to have such a diverse menu allows us to bring in people from all over the place. And that's been the most exciting part.
And the rib special doesn't fit on the plate. You may as well order a to-go box as you order the meal, or prime rib or whatever. And again, those meals are they're delicious, and they're not the prices that you would expect to pay. I'm not sure how you guys continue to do it, but it really is a tremendous value and very satisfying.
And I think a part of that is what you just said, Mike. The reason we can afford to do it is because people show up. Mm-hmm. If we had one person come in for dinner because, our menu is at $23, we'd probably be, that's it, closing our doors. But no, what happens is we fill up the place, for dinners and lunches. And that's why, because we're well priced. Mm-hmm. It makes it easy for you to go with your family to have dinner and drinks when you spend under $100, or for people when you go somewhere else and it's $300 somewhere, and it makes it unaffordable to go once or twice a week. Where because we're for the locals, yes, people come see us every day, and that's what makes us different.
Yeah, and it's very comfortable and casual as well. You can bring your dog. I've seen a lot of dogs just relaxing and kind of chilling out. Seems like when people come into place, people turn and wave, and it's just it's very friendly and warm experience. And again, the food and the activities, it's all there. Boardwalk Bar and Grill. It is on Avenue A, but right off US 1 in the heart of Big Pine Key. Has really kind of become the heart of Big Pine Key, if I could say so. Third year now of the Boardwalk with Adam and John, who have committed to the community and are committed for the long term. So, John, I congratulate you and Adam on a successful 3 years, many more to come. You guys have really contributed to the Lower Keys and Big Pine, and we appreciate that very much.
Well, Mike, it's really good to hear that, and thank you so much for the kind words. Without our community, we are nothing, and we love the fact that everyone is responding to Boardwalk Bar and Grill, and that we're continue to grow. And it's because of literally our community, our residents. Those are the people that hold us together, and we're so thankful for every single one of them. And we appreciate you and your time. And remember that we're on mile marker 31.5 and Boardwalk Bar and Grill.
Yeah, absolutely. You can order online as well. Keep that in mind. Just go to boardwalkbargrillmenu.com and you can order right off of that. Happy Father's Day to you and to Adam, of course. He's even got his daughter working there, working hard to make sure it's a good experience. So I'm sure she'll be wishing her dad, Adam, a happy Father's Day this weekend.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's the other key I want to mention too. You've got a long-term loyal staff that really have a great attitude to make sure that people enjoy themselves and their experience while at Boardwalk. So thanks to them.
Thank you very much, Mike. We really appreciate that.
Yes, sir. John, thanks so much for being here. You have a wonderful weekend, sir.
Likewise. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Take care now. It is
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yes, John Thompson with us, Boardwalk Bar and Grill. He and Adam celebrating the 3rd year anniversary of owning the Boardwalk Bar and Grill there in the heart of Big Pine Key. It is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The Talk of the Key is going to be a busy weekend here, I'm sure, with the news cycle Everybody's watching the Iran deal. Is it on? Is it not? We'll keep you completely up to date with that, with breaking news as soon as it happens. Of course, it is Juneteenth, and the commemorative ceremonies just started with the city of Key West. Keep that in mind. But most city offices, government offices, closed for the federal holiday. Otherwise, we will bring you Glenn Beck in just a few moments, followed by Clay and Buck at noon, Sean Hannity at 3 o'clock. It is Florida's Voice with Drew Steele at 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock, it is Mark Levin, the great one. 9 o'clock, Jesse Kelly, Coast to Coast AM overnight. AUC with Dr. B comes your way live tomorrow, 9 a.m. Always have breaking news, as mentioned, as soon as it happens. Local, state, national news at least every half hour. Weather around the clock as well. It is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. Thank you very much for listening. Happy Father's Day to all, and a happy Juneteenth. This is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys.